Sure. Okay. Are you ready? Okay.
Welcome, everyone. We have a good crowd today, some new visitors, and we welcome you here. We hope you had a good Easter, and we'll carry on.
Yes.
The parking, Steve McGowan is first on the agenda.
Is he first?
Yes, he is. On the new agenda.
Okay.
Afternoon, everyone. Just going to, this will be the only time we talk today, so that's something to be excited about. Thank you. I appreciate that, the adoration. As many of you will probably recall from the last couple of meetings, that's the head parents and school teachers, so I know we always just stop talking and the just goes quiet. So, we've had a couple of very good questions about concerns of elementary schools and parking around there. Along with Julie, Randy, Zephyr, and the inspector, we've had the opportunity to get to know Steve McGowan. Steve is the supervisor for Scarborough for parking, area supervisor. He's going to be providing a presentation right now, and then there'll be an opportunity for questions after. So, if you're ready, then I'll start this going.
You're not going to tag us, are you, today?
I'm already done.
Hey, haven't seen you forever. How you doing?
The Parent Safety Program began in Edmonton, Alberta in 1989. Its founder, Drew McNichol, recognized that many problems existed around the entering and leaving of school zones that were hazardous to the safety of children. A pilot project known as the Parent Parking Patrol was launched, and its success was immediate. The Parent Safety Program was born and quickly expanded to cities all over Canada.
Toronto adopted the program in 1997 as a pilot program in Scarborough. The police started it with some parent groups to implement the program in certain schools. It's expanded to North Europe shortly thereafter, and in 2001, the parking enforcement took charge of the program and began to implement the program citywide.
Every day, numerous problems pose a significant risk to children at their schools. The main purpose of the Parent Safety Program is to reduce or eliminate a number of these traffic hazards that are commonplace at many schools.
Traffic problems around the schools, you're going to see several different things. You're going to see, first of all, the reason why the parking enforcement unit is out there is the parking issues. The illegal parking of vehicles on the street, whether it be in no parking areas or no stopping areas.
Illegal parking causes many other problems. It causes a lot of frustration on the part of people driving through schools, which adds to speeding. U-turns are a problem. 3-point turns in and out of driveways around the school are a problem because as soon as you're backing up, you may not see a child when they back in front.
A lot of problems exist where parents want to drop their kids off opposite the school side and the stopping area and have them cross in front of oncoming traffic. We have children darting in and out between parked vehicles.
Main problems that we see around the schools, both in the morning and afternoon, is the high volume of vehicular traffic, mainly the parents dropping off their kids and picking them up, which creates traffic congestion, and of course it's not safe for the children being picked up and dropped off.
The Parent Safety Program's main focus is elementary school. This community-based, non-confrontational program creates an organized kiss and ride zone with schools that participate in this helpful safety measure. Members from the City Transportation Department, the Parking Enforcement Unit, and the school itself will assess the area around each school to determine the best area for the kiss and ride and ensure the appropriate bylaws are in place.
What happens now in most schools is parents just drop their children off any which place around the school.
Some of the problems that we see around schools, a lot of it has to do with the design of the schools. They were never designed to accommodate the traffic points that are generated today. And so the parent safety program tries to accommodate that traffic volume by creating some kind of looping system or keeps the traffic flowing so that either off-street or on-street, we can continue to have children dropped off, but it doesn't cause congestion in the vicinity of the schools, which is our major concern.
The Kiss and Ride is a designated area for children in a safe and orderly fashion.
The off-street Kiss and Ride program takes place in a school parking lot or a driveway loop on the school property. This is the most preferred method of the program because it gets the children away from the traffic that's on the roadway. Most schools don't have the facility, they don't have the space for it, they don't have a large enough parking lot or a driveway to use. So we adapted the program to designate a spot on the street for the Kiss and Ride area, which improves the safety.
Let's take a quick look at a school that doesn't have the benefits of the parent safety program. Now, let's look at that same school 1 week after the designated Kiss and Ride area was established.
This Kiss and Ride is identified by cones. You will see volunteers out there in brightly colored vests, whether they be orange or green, and the volunteers have been trained.
The parent safety program depends heavily on the active involvement of concerned parent volunteers. These enthusiastic and polite people are essential for ensuring the success of the program by providing a safe and legal alternative for drivers through the designated Kiss and Ride area.
The function basically of the parent volunteer is to identify themselves to the parents and to the students that they are out there to help them to arrive and to be picked up in a safe manner. They identify the Kiss and Ride area that's out there. They identify the safe zone where they can be dropped off and picked up.
The volunteers will also track repeat offenders, people that they haven't been able to obtain compliance from, and pass that information on to the school coordinator, who in turn passes that information on to the parking enforcement unit for follow-up action.
As a volunteer, I work 2 mornings a week. It takes about 15 minutes. And just I assist the children in and out of the cars and make sure that they're safe.
Volunteers simply need to put up their hand and volunteer to do the program. It requires 20 to 30 minutes a week. Sometimes more people are available, sometimes less. If they only have once every 2 weeks, we're more than happy to take volunteers.
Training of parent volunteers is the responsibility of the parking enforcement unit as well as the local Toronto Police Service Division. In addition to this, they will also provide support to the volunteers during the implementation of the program.
The volunteers must participate in a training session, which is possibly 2 or 3 hours of an information session where they learn about their rights and responsibilities. We teach them about the parking bylaws so that they can in turn educate the parents that are driving from the school.
They are made aware that this is a non-confrontational program, and we try and teach them how they should deal with other parents, basically. We do a walkthrough, we go out, we do an on-site mock-up of how the program should be run. We run through it with them, and we get them very involved with the whole process of the setting up of the program.
We conduct an assembly with the students of the school because that's a very important part by teaching the students, the young children, very simple things about the program. Those children will take that information on to the parents. When the program is implemented, we participate by being present for the initial first few days of the program to help with the training, to help educate the parents and children of the program, and also to show drivers coming into the school area that the police support and the parking enforcement unit support this program.
It is a non-confrontational program, and we don't want to get involved in telling people so much what to do. And so if someone's not complying and is creating more of a hazard for us, we can always phone up the parking enforcement to help us out on that matter. We will do follow-up, we will do maintenance with them, and come in and speak with any parents that they feel need to be spoken to because there are ongoing problems in the future as well. Initially, parking enforcement supported us by bringing the program to our attention. And since then, they've been here helping to educate the parents, retrain them into using the loop, and also ticketing on the days that the tickets need to be handed out.
They were instrumental in setting up the program. We had meetings with the parent council. We had
had to change some signs for no parking, tons of parking. They were here as an enforcement when we started the program, letting parents know that they can't make three-corner turns or where they can park it. So it's been very supportive that way.
While the support from both the volunteers and the parking enforcement unit is integral to the success of the parent safety program, so too is the added support needed from the city, the schools, and the Toronto Police Service.
The role of the city's traffic department in the parent safety program is to conduct investigations on the street to determine if additional signs, traffic regulations are required to help improve the parent safety program and add to the success.
The PSP benefits the children by providing them and teaching them a proper way of attending school and parking and traffic regulations on the roadway, and encourages them to feel part of the community.
The city is very supportive of this program. We're supportive of anything that helps relieve the congestion in the schools, and this is one program that has worked very well for us in the city, and we are very supportive of it.
Well, I've heard great things about the PSP program because it was an opportunity for parents to take an active role in their school community and helping the children be safe. And because we had so many concerns around children's safety coming and going to school, we felt this was a program.
My role as vice principal is to be supportive of this program because it's in the best interest of parents and students and their safety. I plan to be out there helping in the morning and in the evening as much as I can, and to encourage the grade 6 students to take part in this leadership opportunity.
The PSP program greatly affects the police department by relieving the officers from having to attend the same from day in and day out at some of our local schools. It gives us the opportunity to redeploy them elsewhere. We try to encourage traffic safety, and we hope that drivers will be educated and take safety in mind once they leave the school grounds, and try to incorporate traffic safety in their day-to-day driving habits.
The parent safety program is a very simple and effective way to ensure the safety of our children in schools during the peak drop-off and pickup times. It reiterates safety and common sense in both children and parents. But don't just take our word for it.
The success I've seen in the parent safety program is that as it has started, more and more schools are starting to hear about it, more and more schools are becoming much more interested in wanting to develop the program themselves at their own school. And as such, it's started to really change the attitude of parents in the schools and realizing that children have to come first and not the convenience of getting home or back to school or back to work first, but rather choose safety over convenience.
I definitely suggest, if anyone has any similar problems like Charlottetown did with the parking, to phone up parking enforcement and ask for this program, the Kiss and Ride program. We found it invaluable. We've been doing it now for 3 years, and it's helped out tremendously. And I know that there are other schools that are facing the same thing with on public streets, on community streets, that need help in organizing their parents to do the same thing that we are here.
All I can say is that this program has worked so well at our school that I encourage you strongly to go ahead and try it.
Well, I would really encourage them to engage their parent community through their school council and through student volunteers to really have a good and serious look at the PSP program, because it really is a great benefit to the school. Any questions?
So this issue has raised its head a few times now in our meetings here, and really on a daily basis in what we do. This is a program that has been in place for some period of time, as you can hear from the video, but it's not something that is as publicized as we would like it to be. When we were discussing the matters and some strategies here to address the issues around schools, and there's plenty of them. This is but one program that we can bring to local schools here to try to address the problems. As you heard, its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness, and that is parent volunteers. So to get people to commit to doing that on a day-to-day basis, morning and then the dismissal in the afternoon are issues that the programs encounter, but it relies heavily upon the participation of the parents in the school themselves. So we have our resident expert here, supervisor for parking east here, and he, if you have any questions or any concerns at all, yes.
Has this program been introduced to Joseph Frank? Joseph Frank Public Schools?
They do, they are aware of it.
They are aware of it? Are they taking part in it?
Not yet.
Not yet. I also have another question. They were going to do some sign changes on Rance Road. Have those sign changes been
The
made?
bylaws have gone through, I'm not too sure if the signs are up yet. A lot of times when it's the winter time, they don't do the locates for them, for the utilities before they put up the new signage. So they have to put up all the new posts and that, they wait for the thaw, then they do the locates and that. And from the amount of bylaws changed this winter, there's quite a few. I'm sure it's just on the backlog on the work order.
I heard that the signs were changed in January, and since then, there's been no police coverage at Bragg, either in the morning or at night.
I wouldn't say that, my actual CSO has been there.
Has he?
Yeah.
And passed out tickets?
I don't think we have tickets or been education. A lot of times, the first time when we do signage, we do education. Just to give you a little background, we have 3 officers out, 1 in 41, 1 in 42, 1 in 43, and a community officer covering 200 schools. So we hope to get to each school about 5 or 6 times a year. Okay, and to enforce it.
So, appreciate if you can make an effort then to cover, Bragg, particularly at, from 3:30 in the afternoon when the kids are coming out, because that seems to be the really problem thing. In the morning, they just slow down, they drop the kids off and they're gone.
Yeah, and that's the
In the
way.
evening,
Yep.
you know, they're parking or leaving the streets to come out. That's, there's a lot of heavy traffic from.
I think one of the last meeting, the question was about Grand Hall Court also. That's the same thing. We cleaned that out several times, but we get 2 or 3 days of compliance.
Yeah.
And then it fills back up again. It's just human nature.
And we really, you know, we're really at the mercy of the parents and the schools to solve the problems. And I mean, we can take a, you know, probably fill the coffers of the city, but it's not going to
As do
stop.
so, my taxes are going up.
Will do.
I sit on the committee right now. Scarborough Council, or City Council has directed transportation to form a committee, come up with solutions. We're trying several things. They're looking at fines. They're looking at road signage. So you know where the yellow signs are as you enter the schools? They're actually experimenting with 3 schools where they're putting them on the roadways now. With the chevrons going through the school zones, painting the whole school zone a color to show you that it's a school, and different things like that. That's all the work being studied right now. The 3 schools are just being painted as soon as the weather's right for it.
I used to drive my child to elementary school when she was there, and I'm so relieved I don't have to do it anymore. But during that time when she was being driven there, I noticed a lot of students, they just, because they have the earbuds, they just cross without even looking. And like every time I see them do that, my heart just drops, because I hate to say this, not all adult drivers behave like adult responsible drivers. Sometimes they just like, it's like just passing by them, and it's so dangerous. So I'm just wondering whether are the students being reminded consistently to, you know, watch left and right before they just cross blindly with the earbuds on, especially.
I think that's more yes over our officers do that.
Yeah, so we do have school resource officers that are in the schools and are delivering that message, among other messages that they're delivering. As part of this program here, they also hold assemblies and educate the students on truck safety around the kiss and rides. And,
Yeah, I sure hope so.
yeah,
But
so,
for their safety, yeah,
so
it's
that
not
is
bigger than
something-
the car, so.
yeah, that is something that we are preaching as well, you know, while we're out there.
Thank you.
Just about Brent, I was actually there a couple of weeks ago. When I'm here in Mason, I was there, we did some speed enforcement and also some illegal parking.
So in your 3-day blitz there, how many tickets did you hand out at the school?
At that school, there was 22 tickets that were written that day.
So
22 tickets. And that's speeding violations and also parking violations. But we're gonna be coming back there next week, so watch that street, okay? Strict enforcement.
Don't park there, Ron.
This program seems to be in Scarborough. I was wondering, is it also going on in the city of
Yeah, it's right
Toronto?
across Toronto.
Where there, and of course, many one-way streets where people park on the one left-hand or right-hand side of the street. And then the school is there with no place to pull in.
The downtown schools don't, like that, don't tend to be, the kids mainly walk in those schools. You don't have as many problems. It's Scarborough, North York, it's all about periphery that we have more problems. And the program works with the volunteers. The most successful ones are when we have volunteers and they have grades 7 and 8s there. And we use the kids as a leadership program. They really tend to work. The ones that we put together with parents sometimes fall apart very quickly. Charlottetown's been going for years. It's one of the originals. Yeah. It's still going. Well, using high school kids?
Yeah.
No, because they could, and we've tried it, but we found out that it didn't work. Unless the high school is physically right beside the school, they've got to, their school time, bell times might open, they're missing class.
Get a teenager to get out of bed early, good luck.
We can try something new for
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
7 and 8, it tends to work, and then the grade 6s we train in May, June to take over for the grade 8s that are leaving. And that does work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm from Society College and we do tree foundations. And there's a lot of students, college students, and maybe they can get involved because they want to be police officers, but not they can get involved.
Yeah, and it's something that the school has to, okay, because it's not on their property, it's done, it's really. So the thing that we have to look at and really concern ourselves with is the sustainability of doing it each and every day. Programs that only run 2 or 3 times a week create problems, really throughout the week. And so the buy-in by the parents would be the best case scenario, and the 6, 7, and 8s would be the next best, and so forth. So that is another avenue to approach it, something that I guess if we really have a strong commitment from the school itself wanting a program and just desperate for volunteers, it's something that we could then come back to you and see where you stand on it.
I guess the message here, though, that I want to sort of underline is that this is a school and the community of parents that whose kids attend that school, they drive it. It's not a police-driven issue. It's not a police-driven program. It is driven by the community of parents and the school itself. So if there's a problem with you name the school, there's a problem there, it is really something that the school has to engage in with that community of parents to solve it.
I've been part of the school in the community, and a lot of schools, a lot of kids, my kids, we stay down with us, St. Albert, and they used to have programs where they had set up the parking lots where you can actually circle, because sometimes you can go to the other side. And then when they went to high school, Scarborough High School, and many times they even had parents there during the recesses and sponsor traffic built up. So in the Carlo Newman, they had, I believe, 2 sides that they could go, so they didn't have as much trouble. Right? They had the first one, and then from St. Clair, from Bridley and St. Clair, right? Which cut through together.
It's the design of the school. You see the school, just the Catholic school just off Bellamy, St. Lawrence, it's just been redesigned, and they've actually they built the new school behind the old one. When they demolished the old one, they put a roof in. But it's money. It's building the infrastructure. These schools were not designed for this system. They were designed for the kids to walk. Currently, right now, the bylaws for the schools, for the changes in the bylaws, half the schools in Scarborough are wrong. The old way used to be was to allow no parking in front of the school, so the kids could all be seen walking.
and allow parking across the road. Well, that's what we don't want, because then the kids are getting and running across the road. So they're trying to switch them. That takes time and money. I'm doing one school 42 division, I've been working on it for 4 years, because the residents don't want the bylaws changed.
So what are you trying to do, like?
To put on to allow the drop off on the school side and no stopping across the road, so the kids aren't running across the road. But unfortunately, some of the residents are against the changes. So we have to look at that.
I can tell you as well, when we're holding these meetings, we have now for the stop only, because we're quick to criticize, some politicians sometimes, but our local councilors have been outstanding and participated and been part of that conversation. So I just want to let you guys all know, as taxpayers, your municipal people here are participating and being part of this. Any other questions? Any other parking issues for our resident expert here? He may actually attend future meetings because it's catered.
Yeah, the best one's laid out so far. I've left some information in the back of the room. There's some PSP programs in the back.
It is an early question, but will the 3-hour parking rule be relaxed during the pandemic days?
I have no idea.
Is there anyone that would be able to offer some information? I've seen an increased amount of parking in the area. I've seen people get out of their cars and get onto, other modes.
There's actually
the bus or, the LRT. I'm concerned about what could possibly happen with just the overflow of people going through the area that.
What area are you specifically?
Stoneton Drive, McAllen and Ellesmere. I've seen an increase in that part.
I know there are areas around the Pan Am sites that the bylaws are being switched to no stopping. And there are specific dates, and some of them are close to the Pan Am games, some of them are a wider period, like around Military Trail, around the Aquatic Center, and the side streets around there. And that's all being bylawed right now, and signage will go up in June for some of them, July right at the games for others. And there's a whole list of streets across the city for that. There's loading zones being put so people can be dropped off at Hart City Stadium. There's disabled parking being put in, and that is literally for a few weeks, and then it reverts back to everything else. As far as the relaxation, we look back.
Speaking of Pan Am games, I went to one the other day, and they do have LPP there, and they have some serious fun programs going on. So apparently they're going to have quite a few others for the residents' rides and storefronts that are going to have other programs like this, which will help people to put the word into it if they're interested in knowing about, anything that's going to affect their, communities or whatever.
I'm sure that no matter what the city does or police do, just through sheer volume and interest, everybody's patience is going to be tried during that period.
Well, to be honest with you, I worked for Toronto Hydro, I worked for TTC. We worked with the police when we were getting into the chambers, the manholes. I worked outside. And there's never been a problem in the Toronto area. And I've lived in Scarborough all my life, so I don't know if there's a difference there or not.
I wanted to actually, hi everyone, it's Mitzi Hunter, I'm the FPP for Scarborough Gilwood. And regarding Pan Am, there is a coordinating meeting for transportation happening for the East End. It's actually going to be on April the 13th. Now it is targeted at business, but it is talking about all things transportation related. So it's Monday, April 13th from 9 a.m. till noon, and it's going to be held at the Ajax Convention Center. So perhaps there's a way to receive some of that information that the community can have access to as well.
And I believe there's also on the Pan Am site, there's a transportation section as well. So it's well worth exploring there to answer some of the questions. We're learning along with you. So I can tell you there's lots of planning going in. All right, our resident expert is
I'll be hanging out at the back of the room.
okay, sounds good. Thank you for
Thank you
attending.
very much. And Detective, Sergeant, oh, Detective Sergeant?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You just had my question about people. Questions back to you.
My staff, you're doing that?
I am, so, two things I learned this week is, if you're gonna give your people time off, make sure that you don't have to pick up their tasks when they're away. The second thing I learned is before they give you a slideshow and you present it in front of a live audience, I should probably go through it. Which I have not done either, so I hope there's no inappropriate.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over this the best I can. Filling in for Tracy Smythe, obviously our crime analyst here. The first one we're looking at is our collisions, the month of March. You can see, we always get this concentration up and down around our major arteries, Lawrence, and especially around the Scarborough Town Center. I'll get into some enforcement slides here in a minute, but these are mostly their property damage accidents, so no personal injury involved. We base our enforcement on these types of maps here. So as our enforcement are the little blue crosses that you see here. And I think Happy is probably responsible for a lot of those. 80%, and our collisions. So, this is obviously a useful map for us because we can really target our enforcement efforts based on sort of what we see in terms of collisions in areas and identifying problems. Like I remember there a few months ago, we were having a lot of collisions around the Kingston Road and Lawrence area. And if you drive through the intersection, it's all shut down in one lane because of traffic construction around it. So since that's been alleviated, our collisions really did decrease in that area. So sometimes there's environmental designs that are affecting that. These are break enters in the month of March. Mostly these are residential, a few commercial ones as well. We're constantly looking at ways that we can curb these. We constantly have projects going in this division in particular, and if not, then we're working cooperatively with other agencies or other divisions. What we'll find sometimes is these aren't necessarily people in our division that live here that are committing these break-ins. They come from the Durham or other divisions. So we find out they have projects going, we certainly always lend a hand. Here's our robberies for the month of March. You'll see, again, the same thing with break and enters, our major crime unit, which is overseen by Staff Sergeant Herrera. We quite often have various initiatives going in terms of robberies. Robberies and break and enters, of course, increase with March break. You tend to get students that are off and sitting at home for work, so they want to go out and
with robberies, if I could just pitch in that we're coming into, hopefully, warmer weather. We take off the large, thick coats that we've been wearing and protecting ourselves with over the winter. That exposes what jewelry you have around your neck in a lot of people. So we're starting an education program with respect to that, especially in some of the communities that, for example, Southeast Asia, some of the communities use a necklace as a wedding ring. In our culture, their equivalent is a necklace. Is very expensive, and they can become targets for snatch and grab type robberies. So we're starting that education process in the community as we start to get away from winter and into the weather. But it's a good thing for all of us to be aware of, and please, those of you that represent communities at this meeting, please get that out into your communities, that people just need to be cognizant of what's around them, cognizant of some of the scams that are unfortunately all too common in our city. For example, people getting out of a car and wanting to put a necklace on your neck, and in doing so, they're removing the necklace that you currently have on your neck. Those are things that we saw last summer, and they're things that we expect to see again. So it's just a matter of education. Be aware.
A couple of these Markham Road, ones you see on Markham Road along Lawrence, are what we're seeing also with the trend is you'll have a person come up to an individual who has to be on the phone, or they'll be listening to their earbuds, knowing that probably 9 times out of 10 that is connected to an iPhone or some sort of a device like that. So the perpetrator will come up to the potential or the victim and say, "Excuse me, do you have the time?" Of course, nobody wears a wristwatch anymore. Certainly, if you're under 20, you probably don't have a wristwatch, but you're going to have your iPhone or your BlackBerry. Or they pull out the iPhone, BlackBerry to tell the person the time, snatch, and off they go, and it's a robbery. So be aware of that. That's a potential. I mean, we don't want to tell everybody that asks us the time to go pound salt, but certainly we've got to be more careful.
Sorry, I just wanted to step in for 2 seconds to remind everybody the difference between a theft and a robbery. A robbery is a theft with violence. If you knock down the person as they're taking their iPhone, and then it's theft with violence, just making the terminology understand. When you say the words theft over or under or robbery. Robbery is theft with violence to the victim.
So even these, snatch the phone out of the hand, there's some violence there, there's an assault, or there's certainly an attempt at violence, so that's why it's classified as a robbery as opposed to just a straight theft. If it was sitting on the desk and I turned my back and somebody came up and grabbed my phone, that's a theft, no violence. I mean, that's after my consent.
One thing that I'm sure I'll keep in mind as well when we talk about robberies and break-in enters is oftentimes we'll make one arrest and clear many occurrences because these people seem to do more than one. So we're able to recover property often and clear many of these occurrences. It's not as if everyone out there who's asking for the time is going to rob you, or anybody walking down the sidewalk is necessarily going to break into your house. But we often find that with one arrest, we'll be able to link them to many different crimes that occur. And we've been successful in that this year. We've recovered property for people in many occurrences in return.
Vehicle thefts, you can see it's sporadic, happens everywhere. Keep your cars locked. Don't hide your keys on your dashboard, which is happening. Common sense things. Major crime indicators.
I'm gonna stop here. Vehicle thefts. Making the rounds again. I came across a couple articles, and I know we've talked about before, but we're putting in people's head. There's now a $10 device running around that will unlock your car doors. The articles are starting to make the rounds again on social media, so worth paying attention to that. If you have an automatic lock, I personally don't like them, so you might want to think about it because for a $10 device, you can get into one of those cars.
Is this an actual device that goes in the door lock, or is it a?
No, key control. Yeah, the remote device. Yeah.
Would you mind sending me a link to any information you have about that?
Sure, I've got it, but I'll email it to you later on today. Sure.
Recently, actually had a conversation with Paul Rowe, coming to a division, seeing things like break-in enters and how people break into houses. I sat down with Paul and Julie and said, what kind of things can I do in my house? And they gave me a whole list of tips and tricks, which I've implemented. One has changing locks, Paul's the strike plate thing that I install on my doors.
Did you give your wife the key?
No. Yeah, she changed the locks every day.
How do you be proof the document?
That's right. I'll get advice. So what I also did was, as a result of that, I went on to YouTube and I just typed in how to break into houses. And it's amazing what comes up. So I learned what a bump key was and why we would love it. I just never knew how it was actually used. And you'll see the guy with this bump key and he's hitting it with a hairbrush that my daughter uses, big things, and it locks the door. So one of the things I did is went to the locksmith and I said I want locks for my house that are bump key resistant. So he sold me a very expensive door lock set. He said, here you'll be fine. But in order to protect yourself, sometimes you get a little bit of money. And but like Rob says, if you YouTube these things, you can see it.
Some of it's common sense. Like I live in an apartment building, and forever I'm walking around, and we've gone to a system in our building of fobs to open the door, so we've gone that way, which helps. But forever there's people standing there at the door, and I actually will walk front door. I'll see people standing around, and I'll just walk around the building and go in the side door or back door. I know myself in the last year, 3 times I picked up the phone and called the non-emergency number and said, hey guys, you got people hanging around, like, do yourselves a favor. And I know the superintendent and the inspector have talked about it. If you see people you don't like, call. Because I know one case where I actually pulled the back door shut and the guy of our building, the guy was reefing on the back door. And within minutes, he was, shall we say, escorted off the property. But the point is, be aware of your surroundings. You're not under obligation to open the door. That's why we have locks on buildings. So, because in apartment buildings, not everybody knows everybody. So, you know, you have to know your neighbors, stuff like that.
Absolutely. These bad guys
Sorry.
can somehow. Major crime indicators, our homicides obviously down to 0 this year. So our homicide prevention unit is doing a fantastic job. Our sexual assaults are down 40%. Our general assaults are down by 1. Our robberies, we count them now differently as victims of robberies and robbery events. So you may have 2 students involved by 4. So 1 robbery event, but it's counted on our new system, a relatively new system, as 2 robberies because these victims, whereas property crimes are counted by the household. Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to add, I have a brother living at 41, I think it's 75 Fair Building, and that's known for its, apparently, a lot of things have been going on there, right? What are they thinking of, to make it better? I mean, my brother's paid taxes all his life, he's a pensioner now, and he has to live in this. We pay money to have this kind of accommodation. We get a lot of these seniors come to the one up here. I'm living in a community, and I'm telling you, half of the situations that there's a lot of things you just don't hear that you should hear. And the thing is, they just had somebody jumping off the 7th floor or something. That's supposed to be an adult building. We worked hard to put these things in place, including my parents, and your parents, to have some kind of accommodation. And you get people in there that are trafficking, that apparently, I don't even know what they're doing living in there. I don't even think some of these people are ready to be living in an adult building, and they should have the mental health and other people looking into it and seeing that some of these people are put in conditions where they should be monitored 24/7.
Yeah, that's why we certainly welcome calls from the public that we can act on, even from Crime Stoppers. We've executed search warrants based on a Crime Stoppers tip and had some very good results with that. So, things that are happening to suspicious activity, that's what we're here for. It's, I believe 4175 is a Toronto Community Housing. Certainly speak with them with any concerns. We have our SEPTED training people out the road, it's like crime prevention through environmental design. So we're always available to talk about that.
And I can tell you as well, my officers who are the community response officers on bicycles on foot.
I've had several times where I have to.
Yeah, and so we spend a lot of time in that general area as well, and we do work with people in that building. That building, I think the way you described it suggests that the majority of people are up to no good. I think it's the other way around. I think the majority of the people are in the boat where there's a handful of people in there working very hard and working with our partners to get out of there. It's not as simple as just evicting them. There's processes to be followed and
I've been doing a lot of volunteering. I have people in the community here on Sandra Alley is a very big part of the residents' rights and the spirit fighting all the programs that go on. So it's not that there's nobody there or that place is not put to use. It is very much so. It's just why is these crimes happening right in front of people's eyes, and why people feel feared not to do the right thing, especially when you're putting your time and effort making sure that these things get reported.
And I understand what you're saying. I disagree with you a little bit. I think people are reporting it. They're maybe not doing it as overtly as we think they ought to. But we are receiving information. We are working hard. My officers do execute warrants in there. We do proactive patrols in there. We have a lot of people who we would turn to be vulnerable people that we check upon. And that's something we do not just at that building, but many of our buildings here. People who are maybe a little bit more susceptible to being taken advantage of by some others that are up to no good. We work with residents, and like many of the solutions to problems in the community, it comes from the residents in there themselves. And so we're working hard to empower those people, and we're not alone. The storefronts are a great resource right there as well, and they work hard, and we're working with the residents in that building there as well.
How well do you feel that most communities over the centuries of the course of my life, people have always been screened according to their crimes and seeing that, whatever the case. How well do you personally see to the community is fully aware and able to look at these people and know, and even for landlords on this point that are not screening the people that are,
And that's maybe a question better directed at.
Yes, I do. I'm Shweta again, I'm currently housing precinct advisor. Regarding screening, part of human rights is that having social housing, we can't screen. We don't do reference checks and stuff like that. So that's against the law. So when people are on our list coming to housing, they come off the list. And also we have a lot of people coming in from shelters and from streets to home. So that has been a challenge for us also. We do try to work with our residents in the community and partners to get some support for mental health, and that in itself has been a challenge for us. Adding to that, when people do have mental health issues, we can't force them to take help or get any kind of service. So that's something we do our best to encourage our residents. And again, our partners with Toronto Police has been excellent. So it is a challenge, and I was just there the other day, Monday, spent most of my afternoon talking to the residents there. And I know community, I think it's community health, one of the mental health organizations does a program called Community Health After Community in the building there. And again, Healthy Living Community, Lori, she's the one that facilitates the program. And unfortunately, we do have people who like inspector, staff, Marera said, well, we're going to be inspector soon. Get used to the name now, sir. Yes. Is that CPS is in the building all the time. I see them there all the time. And the people who know who to pick on, they go and they pick on the people who are vulnerable. And then as landlords, it's up to us to take it to the tribunal. Unfortunately, we're not the ones that make the decision to evict people. The landlord tenant board is the one that makes the decision to evict people.
Are these the outreach or townhouse or, there's so many of them.
This is the landlord, us.
Are they well over? Are they netted together?
Well, I would hope with a social
There's too
program.
much powerhouse in there, and it seems to me that there's people up there that really need to be seen to help them, right facility where they can be monitored.
Okay, I answered that. The thing is that we offer that to people. If they don't want to go to it, we can't force them. And that's the challenge, is that a lot of people, they say, yes, I'll see you at the meeting, and they don't show up.
Can I just step in for one sec?
Thank you.
This is an excellent conversation, and it has to be had. It can't end today, and I'm really happy that our MP is here, and our councillors, who represent our councillors here. So we'll continue this conversation. Let's talk after the meeting. We're going to stick to our schedule. We'll talk after the meeting. Stick around and talk, and if we have to set something else up, then we'll do that, okay? That's a very good conversation. We're just going to stick to our schedule for a bit here.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so break matters are relatively unchanged the year. Auto thefts are slightly down. Here's something that Tracy and Adam wanted me to bring to your attention. So it relates back to our Canada Revenue Agency frauds. That if somebody should be contacted, we've had a few of these over the spring, winter months. Somebody will contact you and say, Canada Revenue Agency, you owe us $2,000. Go to this gas station, buy this pay power card, give me the numbers, or else I'm going to call the police and you're going to be arrested for defrauding the government. Believe it or not, people are actually falling for these scams. These criminals can be very persuasive, very aggressive, and they're just invoking fear in these people, and they'll do anything just to get out of it. So we don't want that to continue. If you have any questions about anybody calling you, certainly there's a website here and phone numbers. Call the CRA directly. They don't operate that way. They will not call and tell you to go buy a prepaid credit card and give them, they don't operate that way. Another fraud that we've been getting, that our fraud squad here in 43 Division has been noticing, they want me to bring to attention as well, is immigration fraud. Again, it's very similar to these asking for money for outstanding taxes, but they will call and say, you know, you're a recent immigrant to Canada, or you're a landed immigrant, or you're a refugee, and we want money, or else we're going to call the police, you're going to be deported. And these people, you know, are quite fearful because they don't know the rules here, and they will do that. They will go and give these people money, and that's a fraud, that's a scam. We encourage people to call the police and report that, so that we can look into it properly and have these people arrested and charged accordingly. So again, the CRA frauds look for money, for taxes, and looking for money to sort of turn a blind eye to their immigration status. So we obviously don't want that to happen. And that's all I have. I didn't break the computer.
You did a good job.
Not done yet.
Let's hope not.
I'm not that good.
And we'll go to community activities and concerns. Anybody have any questions for the officers? Or concerns?
Is your opportunity to raise any concerns that you feel we should be addressing or should at least aware of in the community?
Michael and I live at these couple classes at Gilwood, at the intersection of Cromwell and Houston Road. And we're a little bit concerned of the number of accidents that have occurred that have damaged the rod iron fence that surrounds our new complex there. And I'll let Michael speak to this because he's been there a lot longer. And there have been a number of accidents that have damaged the fence. I think at one time we've had damaged the bus shelter and the home. And it says people come up from, you know, on Little Parkway, make that left turn on Kingston Road. I guess this past winter with black ice and ice storm, they missed that turn and it hit the fence. And I know Michael brought pictures of the damage. And he's lived there longer than where I have, so he can speak to some of the other accidents that have happened. But what we're wondering is if there's any way that maybe that bus stop could be moved to, I guess, the east side, rather than the west side where it is, because as the cars are coming up and making that left turn, somebody's gonna get killed at that bus stop, if these accidents continue. So that's one thing. Or is there some sort of obstruction, like concrete flower pots or something that can be placed along there so that as the cars are coming up there, if they do miss that turn, the cars will be stopped, I guess, by some sort of a barrier. Anyway, I'll let Michael take over here.
Michael, yeah, I've been there, I think 18, 19 years now, and guesstimation would be the bus shelter has been completely destroyed 3 times, hit about 5 times. One house, the car went into the main window. The car, the last accident that I have the photos for, the car literally came through the fence, over the wall, dropped roughly 10, 15 feet, and continued on to our visitors' parking lot. Because it was before 7 in the morning, nobody was coming up the stairs because it's a walkway. It's just the last time a car hit the fence and hung over, the only thing that stopped it was a snow pit. And basically a matter of time before someone is hit or killed. And actually, and what I noticed today, there's actually a gas meter within about a foot where the car's bumper still is. So that's another fire issue. But about 6 years ago, I tried with different levels of government to get this looked into. And after about 3 weeks, all I got was, we sent someone over and they said the bus shelter's okay. And that was the response for a car going through a fence.
Did you work with the local council?
I don't want to mention any names, but I went through levels of government, but they all passed it off to the PTC. That came back and said the bus shelter was okay. And I said, well, it didn't hit the bus shelter, right between the bus shelter and the garbage can. But it's a funneling situation, and people come, turn that corner, like the last one was black ice. But the year before there was no black ice, it's happened this summer, there's no time frame for it. But they tend to make that turn, They don't realize Cromwell is not a stop, it's a yield merge. And so everything funnels over, and you have a lot of people wanting to go to Tim Hortons or get gas, they cut each other off. And rather than get a car, they drive towards the sidewalk. And there's absolutely nothing there that can stop them. So we're looking at something to cover that corner that would be put in, that would literally bounce the car back into the road rather than run it into a bus shelter. Like there was one incident, say about 6 years ago, where a girl ran out of the bus shelter and then the car took it right out. It was like, there was nothing left in the bus shelter. So that would have been a year death. And like I said, we called about it.
We can make calls and get back to you at the next meeting. We'll talk to the counselor in the local area and see if there's anything that is possible.
Yeah. There's someone will get, like if you want to look at the pictures, anybody standing on that stair would have been the car came right over.
Don't run away at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got one. The McDonald's at the corner of Kingston Road and Lawrence.
Yes.
It's getting really bad in there again at night. And part of the problem, you know that layout, I'm sure, Peter, you know, as you walk in, there's that big table. It's just logistically laid out. It's laid out for a loiterer's green. And the owner doesn't seem to really care. Her staff seem to be threatened. There seem to be drug deals going on in there on a constant basis. It's a scary place at night. It impacts the whole mall area. Is there anything we can do about it?
Yeah, well, yes, and in fact, Terry Thomas is the owner.
Yeah, I know what I wasn't gonna.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
and I can tell you that she's been a great partner of ours.
Yeah.
In just addressing some of the issues. And we have dealt with individual issues regarding her staff.
Yeah.
You know, feeling that. So I understand where your comments are coming from. I can tell you that our officers do have a presence in that mall there.
I know they do.
The whole mall, not just the McDonald's. And
I know security's got a presence because Dave is in charge of that.
I can also say that Paul and I have been there with regards to SEPTED, as the DS was talking about.
Yeah.
And the owner there is bound by McDonald's, obviously, as a corporation. Their buildings have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
It would be nice for her to put up a barbed wire fence around it, but McDonald's won't allow that.
Yeah, I'm not.
So we have explored all those avenues, but it's not Terry who's ultimately making those decisions, even though it's her restaurant. So there's bigger things.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, I know from my experience, I've actually called head office and complained, and the franchise office tells me it's the franchisee's responsibility. It's the old push-pull, and I don't know any other McDonald's that has a big round table walking in the door on the right-hand side that I can think of. I mean, I know that's not your.
McDonald's has outdoor seating, but
Yeah,
it's kind of
no, I'm
sitting
talking
there.
indoors.
Yeah.
As you walk in the main door, there's that big round table under the TV right at the front. And that's not your guys' fault, but it's the loiterers and the drug dealers' nightmare.
I'm surprised that you say that, because there used to be people that would go there
Yeah.
from the church and sit around that table.
Yeah, there used to be, but in the last,
There's even people there that are on the picnic committee, are volunteers.
I know that.
That sit around.
But in the last year, it is
So,
discussed.
not just drug dealers.
But in the last year, 80% of the traffic at the front of that after dark is awful.
And you know, we do spend our time there. That whole area generally, we tend to spend.
I know you do.
There, proactive capacity.
Yeah.
But it's something that I could definitely have our officers pay more particular attention, especially after.
It seems to be after the sun goes down, Peter.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, like,
Yeah.
and I know there's legitimate people that go in there. That's not my point, but if you look at it, if we all remember the days when the coffee time was where the Egg Smart was and how bad that one got, I hate to say it, the McDonald's seems to be headed in that same trend. Like, it's not getting better, it's actually getting worse. It's got to a point I won't walk in there. Like, it's gotten that.
It's interesting, just because of my observations when I've been out there, and perhaps it's because I'm not going at the same time you are.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a different vibe, but I will put that on our plate.
Mostly after dark.
Yeah, for our guys to.
Thanks, Peter.
Have a look, yeah. I think that's it.
That's it? Nobody else? Exciting on the agenda?
We have our speaker now. Claire.
Yes. Thank you for attending.
Yeah.
We have two guest speakers today, and Claire came all the way from Cambridge. Thank you very much for attending. While she's making her way down here, I'm just going to go over my quick little talk. I don't have a whole lot today. I love the idea. I like the fact that we have Police Foundation students coming and suggesting volunteering your time in order to get what they need to graduate. You know what, maybe we'll take you up on that offer. We have picnics, our CPLC picnics, and we have different programs that we're running through the Improve program, what we call it, where we get students teaching out to do social media stuff, so maybe we'll pick up on that. And besides that, that's pretty much it for me. Over here.
Hi, thanks everyone for welcoming us. Thank you, Randy, again, for making this happen. We're new to the neighborhood, so to speak, not physically, I'm in Cambridge as I wait for back surgery. But Paul here, one of my business partners, we have a new nonprofit in the neighborhood, and we just like to tell you about it and then talk about what we're looking for in terms of partnerships. Myself, I'm Claire Crosby. I'm known to the police in a good way. I work with various divisions across the city of Toronto, and I've actually sat around to 13 division community CPLC, as well as I was part of 14 when I was living in the city of Toronto. And I have to say this one is by far the most engaged and populated one I've ever been to, so kudos to you guys. So the Academy, let me just start. The Academy of Learning, Strength and Conditioning is a non-profit organization. I'm a founding partner, and there's 4 co-founders. Paul is one, and he'll do his own little speech and introduce himself. And my role in the Academy is business development and strategic partnerships. So I just have a few slides here. We actually had one of our students sitting here. He's a football athlete, high school student in the area, as well as a student who's looking to get a scholarship. He had to go work in the Boys and Girls Club today, so he had to leave, unfortunately. But this is what the Academy is. So again, we're a nonprofit organization that supports and mentors student athletes. And it's not only about football, as you say, it's about, first and foremost, it's about academics, and it's also about life. So we offer mentoring and leadership, and as well as physical training, but we also offer an array of services. This was our vision, founded in 2012. Again, the mentoring and leadership, which is very important to all of the kids that are in our academy. There's about, 50 to 60 high school and elementary kids. And we also, so there's the physical training. I'll show you some pictures at the end of the slide. But as well as awards, distinctions, and again, we work with CFL, both CFL and NFL teams, colleges, etc., to help these kids get scholarships so they can go on after high school to get scholarships and football, play football. So in addition to the football training, like I said, mandatory study halls. So the kids that we work with, mandatory study hall for them. So that might be subject-specific tutoring, or we work as a group and bring tutors in to help them with their schoolwork. Life skills, we offer many workshops such as leadership communication, social media, something we want to focus on because these kids are using social media. And I don't think they're all realizing that recruiters, future employers are looking at their social media accounts, and maybe they don't want to be using language and talking about certain things on social media. So we want to get into teaching them that. And again, other skills such as resume writing, and again, subject-specific tutoring. We've worked with, in the past, with the TPSB, with the Boys to Men program, and as well as we've run summer camps for elementary, and Paul can speak more to the programs. So some of our current partnerships and supporters, again, the Toronto District School Board, a lot of our kids are part of the OVFL football league through Scarborough Thunder and as well as Pickering Dolphins. We've worked with White Ribbon, which is an organization, non-profit organization across the world actually, but also in Toronto, that works with men who want to stop violence against women. So we've had guest speakers come in and talk about violence against women with our football kids. We're partnered with the Health Institute, which is in-house in our facility, and they offer chiropractic and other physiotherapy for our kids and others in the community. We work with some great current football players. Orlando Franklin is alumni, as well. He just signed with the San Diego Chargers. Stephon Charles, again, an alumni of Buffalo Bills, and a lot of current Argo and other CFL players as well. Some of these pictures, and I'm going to turn over to Paul. As I said, he's one of 4 co-founders of the Academy, a former CFL player himself. Works with the TSB, and we can go from here. There's just a few pictures that you can talk about.
Claire's pretty much covered the whole thing. She's done a great job. There's not much for me to talk about. I can talk about it. You can do the slide here. But again, Claire covered pretty much what I was looking at. But this is, this year we had Wesley Agnew, who he's from Oshawa, but he kind of fell into our hands. His dad met one of our coaches and he came through and we told his dad, you know what, we think that the Scarborough Thunder would be a better fit for you. So he brought his son over and we worked with Wesley for about 4 years. He was part of our mentoring program, part of our tutoring program. He signed with Stanford University. So if anybody knows about American University, that's probably one of the most prestigious universities you can go to. He had offers from Harvard, Yale, Brown. This young man is amazing. His off-the-field accomplishments surpass his on-field accomplishments, and that's what I'm really proud about in regards to Wesley. There's a good chance you'll probably be watching him play on Sunday. Just last week, we had big Josh Brown. He's going to a Canadian school. Now, Josh is an interesting story because he's one of those kids where you have to keep reeling him in, otherwise he will get lost in the streets. So it took him a year, probably a year and a half, we reeled him in, put him in a couple of headlocks, and he's back. He signed with the University of Regina. We're really fortunate to have Roberto Allen, we call him Bubba. He's the president of the Scarborough Thunder organization, but he's also a CIS scout, meaning that he's able to recruit kids and help them get into university. So we developed that path for kids. So now where kids grade 12, they really have an idea of which way and how to get to university through our program at ALSC and through BUBS. Now we can sit them down, speak with their parents, get them on track academically, hopefully make sure that they're okay socially and emotionally, and then try to get the kid placed. Elijah Wilson, he came to us. I actually played football with his dad many years ago. Elijah came to us. He's a volleyball player, and I saw him running around, and I told his dad, you know what, I think that he can play some football. And that's kind of how it works. People, some parents will bring their kids in, and we'll just say, you know what, we'll work with them, and whatever the sport may be, we just try to develop them to test their ability, not our ability, their ability. Because a lot of times, parents will bring their kids in, and they'll want their kids to be, you know, I'll give you a great hockey player right now. Crosby. So they want Crosby, and really it's about the kid. Because not every kid's going to be Crosby. So, Jesse actually went to Laurier. Now all these kids are Scarborough kids. So he went to Agincourt. Wesley was in Oshawa. He was a Pickering, but he was another Scarborough kid. I'll get to him last. Jesse Maynard, he went to Laurier High School just down the street. Extremely smart. He's probably going to fall in the same category as Wesley in regards to Harvard, Yale, Duke, Virginia Tech. Virginia, there's a ton of schools that are offering this young man scholarship right now. The interesting thing about a program is that some of these kids, they'll leave at grade 10 and grade 11, and we'll send them across the border. We've developed partnerships with schools, high schools, colleges. So depending on anything, we'll be able to place them. So Jesse was able to be placed, so was Wes at the prep school. Wes is graduated, moving on to Stanford. Jesse will probably follow in his step. Stanford's offering him a scholarship. Tavon Campbell, Markham Edmonton kid, went to Laurier High School. This past weekend, he just broke the CFL record, ran the fastest time ever. And I'm really happy about him because he's another kid from our program. Extremely smart kid, went out to Regina, decided that, you know what, Regina is probably the best place for me, decided to live in Regina. So, you know what, I'm excited about that because he's maturing. You know, he realizes that, you know what, being in a certain environment probably wouldn't have been best for him, so he stayed out there. I believe he's getting a sociology degree. He's going to be a doctor. He wants to be a politician. Not sure what he wants to be yet, but all these kids now are inner city kids, and we're really fortunate that they've been able to come through a program. Jade, that had to leave, very good chance you'll see that young man coming on Sunday as well. Phenomenal athlete. We have to get him, I'm glad he's not here, we have to get him straight as well, hard academically, and we're lucky that we have someone like Claire on board. So we can offer these kids these tutoring, life skill programs and other services because we're finding out kids that are coming to the program need more than just weights and books. They need to eat. They need bus fare air to the program. They need nutrition. So we're kind of now developing our community partnership, and we're trying to make sure that we fill all the voids for the kids in the program. And that's pretty much my bit.
I have no more.
Okay.
Here, so here's the facility. So if you want to hang up.
The facility, it's 510 Coronation, Unit 17. It's about 4,200 square feet. It's primarily turf, which is kind of what we do. We run. This is a picture of Stephanie with the Buffalo Bills right now. She'll be back next week, Roberto, but this is some of the kids doing their thing. Jesse, before he left, this is one of the soccer teams in the area. So we're branching out. We're doing what we can for the kids. Again, just some of the things that we do. We run our girls program again. I didn't talk about the girls, but we have Canadian junior triple jump champion with our team. We have another Scarborough matrix basketball. Some of the girls there, they'll be heading off to the United States. One girl has about 35 U.S. scholarships right now. This is my football program that we run with our high school athletes before they leave, and we always do a breakdown. This young gentleman will probably be playing on Sunday as well. So this one, they're in school right now, but I'm really fortunate because you don't 6'4", 305, 6'6", 320. You don't get them every day. So I'm really fortunate when the parent can come and let me trust me with their kid. And again, those kids will be moving on. And we just want to make sure that everybody knows about us. So if you have a young man that you think, you know what, this program, it's hard. You know, it takes dedication, it takes hard work. We want kids that are committed. So that's why we introduced the life skills in the homework program, because it's not just about lifting weights and gaining muscle, it's about what you're going to do off the field as well.
And I'll just finish up by saying, as part of, the person who does the business development and strategic partnership, it's not only about finding kids who are interested in football or other sports, it's about finding partnerships in the community. So if you know any nonprofit organizations that you think we can partner with to offer comprehensive programs to these kids, whatever it may be, the social media, teaching, the mentoring, the tutors, you know, anybody looking for a tutoring opportunity, we want to talk to Randy knows this already about the pro-action costs of kids. Let's get a grant going, let's get a piece in there to build relationships with community, and I'm always at City Hall, so I'm looking at for opportunities to work with that council all the time as well. So please join us. It's
Employment opportunities
we all,
for kids.
yeah, absolutely, summer programs. So thank you very much again for the opportunity.
A couple of questions, I think?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if I missed it, but what's the target age?
It's all done, I'm gonna mention right up through high school. So if you have some kids from grade one, because we want, in addition to just the basic fundamentals of moving, getting control of the body, and then if they have sports that they like, then we get a little bit more sports specific.
And is it targeted specifically to the East region?
No, we have kids from everywhere. We have kids from Durham, York, Tobago.
Question, is there a cost?
Yes, we charge right now, as a group rate, we charge $75, but then if some kids need subsidy, then we ask the parent to come on in and have a chat with us, and then we'll make something happen. So our main focus is not to turn them away, because if we turn them away, they're going to do something else. So if we keep them in the house, we just put things happen.
When is this open or available to people? When do they go?
The after-school program, obviously, is the evening program. We start that at 6. The homework program runs Wednesday, Thursday at Joseph Grant. We run that from 6 until 7, and then the kids walk on over to the facility, and they start the training right up until 10 o'clock.
And that actually brings up another point. We have this facility, it's the academy's full time. So that means there's space and time that's not being used. So again, if there's any opportunities, if anybody needs space for meetings or whatever you can think of, the space is available. We want to work with people in the community, so please keep us in mind. Yeah.
Just so myself, saying playing on Sundays, I found football.
Oh.
Is there a football team coming up?
There's a
during Sunday is football.
Yeah, meaning that we just probably end up playing in the NFL.
Okay, I was like, wow, I wasn't sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could say one thing, but I have to speak time anyways. It's a really good opportunity. They invited police throughout the week to go and speak at the facility to speak to the youth on a variety of issues. And she's even bothered with them appointment, she's brought by, so we're really happy with that. It has to do with our building relationships and breaking down barriers to diversity and such. We're extremely happy about that. I just want to make 2 announcements. One of them, I always try to embarrass somebody when I'm up here. I don't embarrass myself. Angela Brackett's not here today, and I'm a little afraid of her, so I actually told her that if she was here, I wouldn't let everybody know. But she's being picked as one of the people that's going to run with the torch, 10 and 12 students. That's a huge opportunity. So she's, you'll hear a little bit more about that. We also just had our Use It Not Mischief rehearsals. That's a program that's been running for about 6 years now, and we got our T-shirts finally.
Awesome.
We have some of these T-shirts. We'll be giving some away at our picnic, and before that, please pay attention to our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, and such, and we'll let you know. Okay?
What is the date for that?
It's next Wednesday. Finale is next Wednesday, 22nd.
Time.
At the Mod Club, downtown Toronto, and it starts about 6 o'clock p.m. and it goes right through about night.
Sounds like the auxiliary night? Is Wednesday not the auxiliary appreciation night too?
Sorry, it's 2.
It's 2 weeks, yeah, that's what I thought. At the Mod Club.
Sorry about that.
It's at the Mod Club, which is downtown. It's usually not restricted. The kids selected play on with a band, one of the two house bands, and it's a great thing. I won't
Any
ask
questions for Julie and Paul?
besides.
Paul said he wouldn't talk to you. He's talking to somebody else outside. I'll just leave these here. They're just flyers for a couple of things we have coming up. The 43 Division Bike Safety Day, run by auxiliaries at the Seventh-day Adventist Church across the street, is coming up on May 24th. It's a Sunday. Pastor Feely was kind enough to email me from Florida today to rub it in that he won't be here. He's in Florida. So that's East Safety Expo. So think of a home show, but more geared towards crime prevention style stuff. It's at the Ismali Center. It's over at 49 Winford Drive, which is Winford and the DVP. That's coming up on May 14th, and that's an evening thing, 6:30 to 9. Anybody who hasn't been to that center, it's off the charts nice, really, really nice place. So 2 things, community stuff going on.
Good.
Everybody in the CPLC has this flyer, so you could send that one out. Maybe on C-Story. Perfect. Anything else? Okay.
You done?
I have 2 forms here, I'll go. One is for guests to sign up that are here today for the picnic. And one is for members to sign up for volunteering. What I've done is give 2 hours minimum for the guests. And everyone else, will CPLC 3.5 hours each. We need a lot of people to put that in. So I'm going to pass it around. Oh, that's nice. I'll be here too.
Pass it around.
Oh, this one is for the members.
Yeah. There you go.
We really need lots of volunteers. And the reason I've given the members the 8:30 to 12:30 to 3, I guess, 3:30, is because we need to set up, like the tables and the chairs. But the guests have a choice, come or not come, or come for 2 hours. It's up to you. You get volunteer hours if you're a student. Or as a school.
When you enter the residence, then you have to use on the residence roster.
Pardon?
On the residence
Yes.
roster. And they have, happy with names, because we're having a cleanup, you know, the front page again. He also runs volunteers. It's right out your cleanup day. This one here.
Get that out of here.
This here. Yes, I volunteered for the cleanup, that they're having here. And the person that's also, his name is Happy, he gets a lot of volunteers for the community.
I think that we probably have.
You do, you have the catering also sometimes that you get from, Villa Catering, it's nice to look for them too, and even the events over there, so. They also get a lot of the residents, they have a lot of volunteers available for, you know, who wants to, and also a big part of the picnic.
Just don't keep that thing, just keep it on going and send it back to me, please. Just because you sign up, that doesn't mean you get to keep it. Thank you.
Better for our broadcast portion then?
Are we done the open portion?
Our broadcast portion?
Yes.
Yes.